Team Canada's para ice hockey team is gearing up for a massive competition with the World Championships next month. Team captain Tyler McGregor is here to talk about how the team's doing and how they fared in a 3-game series against the U.S. Let's get started.
Welcome to Parasport Nation with Alex Smyth and Nathan Clement.
Welcome into Parasport Nation. I'm your host, Alex Smyth, as always joined by Nathan Clement. Nathan, we got a great show today. I'm excited.
Oh, I cannot wait for this one. The conversation with Tyler is absolutely phenomenal. And we got some pressing questions that we're going to be asking each other. So I'm going to throw it to you, Alex.
Okay.
It's Masters weekend right now. What would be your dream Masters championship meal? We're talking appetizer, meal, main meal, and dessert.
Yeah, because this is one of the variables with the Masters. The winner gets to set a menu. Last year, Scotty Scheffler had the cheeseburger sliders, a cowboy ribeye, and a chocolate chip cookie skillet. That sounds phenomenal, but I'm going a slightly different direction. My appetizer, give me a massive, and I'm talking massive plate of Chinese assorted dumplings. I can never get enough dumplings. I can eat dozens of them, literally dozens of them. I'm a problem when I dine out. So dumplings for an appetizer. Main course, I'm going a bit of a weird combination. I want, after Asian, I want to go Mexican-Italian because I want tacos with the side of a delicious Caesar salad. Two of my favorite things come together, handheld and Caesar. For dessert, going a bit fancy, I'm going to go with a lavender creme brulee. Very delicate, very fancy, but a nice tie-in after I've stuffed my face with dumplings and tacos. Nathan, that's my dream championship meal. What's yours?
First thing I got to ask is, am I going to be invited to your championship meal?
Absolutely.
Okay,
we're
perfect.
We're part of the team. If I'm winning, you're winning.
Perfect. I'm going a little bit of a different route from you and also our guest, Tyler McGregor. I'm going real greasy with it. Not starting off with the appetizer, but I think a great appetizer is going to be some calamari. Get the tzatziki out, have a nice bit of calamari, get the lemon on top. Start healthy before we completely change the page. I'm going as my main meal with the classic Costco hot dogs. Give me a mountain of Costco hot dogs and give everyone else that because it's economical. It gets the job done and they're just amazing. Channeling my inner Phil Kessel with that. And then for dessert, I got to go with a Canadian classic. You can find them in the stores. You can find them in the fridges everywhere. Give me a McCain's Deep and Delicious as the dessert. Good, classy Canadian food.
Okay. Very interesting. I mean, definitely, you had me going in one direction off the top. I thought, okay, this is going to be a very refined, delicate meal. No, then immediately going in Costco hot dogs and a McCain deep dish. I know a lot of people who would be a fan of that. I'm a fan of that as well, Nathan. So hopefully one of us get to have our championship meals soon so we can both enjoy. But as you mentioned, we put Tyler McGregor to the test, asking him this question as well during our conversation with him. But we also talked about other things like the Summit Series with the U.S. that took place in Thorold, Ontario. We asked him what it's like to be a team captain for Canada and so much more. Here's our interview with Tyler McGregor. Tyler, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you're coming off and you and your team are coming off of a 3-game series with the U.S. down in Thorold. It was an exciting 3 games. You fell 2-1, but you came away with that final game victory. First off, how was that competition in that series going head-to-head with the U.S.?
It was awesome. And yeah, I mean, 2 of those 3 games were both 2-1 games. So thankfully we came out on top in one of those. So I think, for us, like we finished on a positive note, finished with a win heading into World Championships. It's always fast. It's always physical. Really challenges you as a team. I think for us, it's been a bit of an up and down season, but so we faced a lot of adversity. So I think heading into World Championships, like that's going to be good for us. We've really done a great job, I think, of sticking together throughout all of that, and pretty pleased with where our team's at. But yeah, that series was awesome. Anytime you have the chance to compete on home ice in front of family and friends and our home fans, it's an honor.
Tyler, thank you for joining us. You mentioned it there. You got the win against the United States in the final game of that series. How does that help you prepare for World Championships coming up in Buffalo?
Well, for us, like, that was coming off a World Championship win last year, our first in a number of years. Obviously it felt great to beat our biggest rival in a very important game. And then we struggled to beat them so far this season. So I think for us, like, winning that final game was just a huge confidence booster. And especially I think the way we did it, had some key injuries in game 3 of that series. And so our lineup was, a little bit depleted, had some young players step in who did a phenomenal job. And then I think it was just a matter of really showing how much depth we have within our team. We had, some players, I guess, who have been around for a couple of years really, really step up, and kind of embrace a bigger role when they're called upon. And I think for any successful team, like, we know, our success is going to count on that. Everybody contributing, everybody being a part of it, and everybody embracing a little bit bigger of a role against what is really a really good opponent in the USA. And we think that's going to be a key to our success moving forward, and especially this coming World Championship. So, it was a huge confidence booster for us.
And obviously, when Canada does face the U.S. in the World Championships, there's going to be a lot of anticipation for and excitement around that game. But let's talk a bit about the rest of the field. How are you finding the competition level from these other nations as you gather together? You have to face off against all these other nations, and their teams are only getting better.
They certainly are. And I think if you look back to last year's World Championships, we saw that going into the gold medal game, both of those semifinal games, ours was against China. USA played the Czechs. Both of those games were 2-1 and came down to the bitter end. And so they certainly weren't easy. That tested our team, certainly, where China actually held a lead heading into the third period against us. And so it's nice to see, because that wasn't always the case. And it's always amazing to have to earn your opportunity to compete for a gold medal. And then outside of that too, like, we're sort of seeing it from afar. Obviously this year we haven't seen any other countries other than those, but we're seeing it from afar just in the way teams are preparing, the way they're training. And you just know that the growth and development of their teams and the strength of their teams follows suit in that. And we expect that to just continue on, especially with the Paralympics coming up next year. So we're looking forward to seeing the rest of the field. And it's always fun to play in those close competitive games that really challenge you to rise to the occasion as an athlete. And that's just sort of the evolution of sport, and you love to see it.
Tyler, you were named captain in 2019, and the para ice hockey program has a proud history of leaders and athletes that have represented them. But what does it mean to you to be the captain of the team?
Man, it's such an honor. And it's something like, sometimes you have to pinch yourself to be quite honest, because I'm just a kid from Forest, Ontario, that just has always loved to play hockey. And coming into this program, I was fortunate to learn from the previous leaders of our team, people who I really look up to. Obviously, Greg Westlake, never played with Jean Labonte or Todd Nicholson, but certainly know them on a personal level and have a ton of respect for them. So to be able to kind of carry on that torch has been amazing. And truthfully, back in 2019, when I was named captain, like, I at least still view myself as somewhat unready and a bit immature at that time. So it was certainly a learning experience. But I think early on, you try to be everything to everyone, and then you kind of remind yourself just to be yourself. And I think over the past 6 years, I guess, I've been able to evolve and obviously have a ton of support around me, from teammates who are also exceptional leaders, and in trying to sort of reshape our identity and our culture and really come together as a team. And that obviously takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and work. But over the past couple of years, I'd say especially, we're in a really good place, and just to have the chance to lead this team and to be a part of this journey is something I certainly don't take for granted.
Now, Tyler, we had the chance to speak with the team at Harder Than You Think, who were the production team behind Rising Phoenix. They're working with Milano Cortina 2026 to do another feature-length documentary. I may have pitched them on doing a bit of a deep dive and exploration in the Canada-US para ice hockey rivalry. They did say, to their credit, that they were aware of it. They were looking into it. They had already reached out to some players. Obviously, on an international level, there is that interest around that rivalry. But what does that rivalry, Canada-US para ice hockey, mean to you? It's been a tough go the last little while. US seems to have Canada's number, but as you mentioned, you came away with the victory last year at the World Championships. And does it feel a bit extra sweet when you're getting that win over the US?
Of course it does, yeah. And that rivalry honestly means so much, I think, to me and to all my teammates and probably them as well. I can only assume, like, that rivalry, I think, fuels so much of the growth of our sport. Like, our two teams, you train and you prepare to be at your best so that when those games present themselves, you are prepared to go out and meet the moment. And they challenge you physically, mentally, emotionally. They are evidence of our sport at its very best. And I think over the course of time and over the course of my career and even well before my time, like, there's been a lot of moments that, yeah, we haven't been on the right side, but those losses, especially in pivotal moments, help shape who you are as both as an athlete and as a human being, and help you sort of, I guess, be mindful of areas that you need to improve and how you can evolve as a person and as a player. And then you have to commit to investing in what's necessary to try and overcome those challenges. And I'm so grateful for all of that, because, sitting here at 31 years old, like, both those losses and all of those devastating experiences and all the wins that we've had, I think, have helped shape me into who I am and helped me be a better teammate, and also done the same for my teammates. And I'm sure they can say the same on their side.
We can just hear the emotion and just the passion, especially with that US-Canada rivalry. And we really want to know, is there any moments, like goals or any plays that really stand out to you, whether it's against the United States or any other country that you've played against?
There's definitely a few. I would say for myself on a personal level, like 2017 World Championships when we won there, like those are two goals I've scored that will always be sort of etched in my memory. And then obviously maybe a bit of recency bias, but our first World Championship win in 7 years on home ice last year in Calgary, like those experiences were incredible, especially just to share it with the team that we have, do it on home ice. As I mentioned, our families were there, and our friends. So to be able to, I guess, win in front of them for the first time was pretty special and pretty unique. And I think, like that celebration after will be something that I never forget. Like I kind of get goosebumps thinking about it, because you want to recreate those so badly, and hopefully we're able to some point here soon.
Now, moving away from your playing on the ice, you're still involved in hockey in different ways. I had a chance to catch up with you at the National Blind Hockey Tournament, where you were actually doing some play calling with Nico Cardarelli. How was that experience, enjoying hockey and experiencing hockey from a different perspective?
You know what? That was it's a new challenge for me. I called a few games alongside Nico back in December of 2024. And those were my first games ever. So it was a new challenge. Nico makes it so easy on me though. But blind hockey is a sport that, I'm friends with a lot of those people, and they're exceptional people, exceptional athletes too. So I'm heavily invested and supportive of their sport, and it is a unique challenge though, and a different perspective. But I'm someone that, I mean, what better way to spend a day than just at the rink talking hockey? So I did enjoy it, and especially, as your comfort level grows in doing anything, it's like building any new skill. As your comfort level grows, you feel like you're getting a little bit better at it. So yeah, that's been a pretty cool opportunity that I'm thankful to Canadian Blind Hockey for providing me, and hopefully there's some more games in the future.
As it is Masters weekend right now, would you have a dream championship meal from an appetizer, a main, or even a dessert?
Oh, that's so tough. Like in our household, my partner and I, we like she's Greek and Italian, so we eat a very Mediterranean based diet actually. But I also love my Indian food actually. So I don't know. It'd be some sort of like Greek salad or and possibly a gyro. Like I'm so simple. But something like that would be awesome. Obviously, that's not a great pregame meal. Um, but yeah, like something simple with uh like that, I guess. And dessert. Oh, geez. I've been obsessed with dates, peanut butter, and chocolate lately. All kind of combined into it. My partner Meg just made sort of like a bunch of squares like that, and they're unbelievable.
Sounds like a pretty great meal to me. I mean, and don't feel bad. I wrestled with my response for a while too, going back and forth. It's extremely hard to narrow it down to one delicious meal because there's so many different options out there. But yeah, and so for you, you're wearing the C for Team Canada. This is a question that we asked Greg when we had him on the show previously, but I want to get your take on it. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of para ice hockey?
Oh, well, you already said his name. Greg Westlake would be up there. Uh, Brad Bowden, Billy Bridges. I'm gonna go specifically with teammates here too, and then I won't give any current ones because they're. But actually, maybe I should. Current teammates. I'll finish that off with. Actually, no. Sorry, changed my mind already. We're going Greg Westlake, Brad Bowden, Billy Bridges, and Jean Labonte because I have so much respect for who he is as a person.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal list. Is there a dream rink you've not played in yet that you would love to play in?
Immediately my mind went to some of the crazy rinks they have in Europe that are like built into the side of a mountain or whatnot that I've seen online. But I kind of want to go with a legendary rink in Canada. Like, I think it would have been so cool to play in the legit Maple Leaf Gardens or the old Montreal Forum, something like that. Something with so much history. Obviously, they're both closed down now. But I think that would have been top tier.
And lastly, for you, Tyler, we've had a lot of food talk on here. I want to end with one more food question. We'll tie it in with travel as well. You've been to places all over the world for competitions. What is your favorite food city to visit?
That's a tough one too.
We only ask the hardest questions here on PSN.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that the hard hitting questions are a little easier to answer, actually. You know what? I kind of mentioned I love Asian food, and so it's hard to argue with the food that we ate in Seoul. I love that. Although everywhere has kind of been incredible in some capacity. Like I should probably be saying Italian because I also love that, and we're going to Milan next year. But yeah, for me, like it's tough to beat Asian food and Seoul. We've been there 5 or 6 times, something like that. So the street market food there is incredible. Yeah, I love Asian food.
Well, that's a great response. Tyler, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you guys.
Nathan, I always enjoy talking to Tyler. I've had a few chances throughout the years to be able to catch up with him. He always has something great to say, whether it's something serious like talking about the emotion that he feels and the pride in representing Canada, to him dissecting his championship meal. I just always love having a chance to chat with him. What did you take away from the conversation, though?
He's just the best. That's really the first opportunity I've had to talk with him, speak with him, and you can just see the humility, the pride that he has representing the country, but also the sacrifice and work that he's put in to really help get this para ice hockey team in the direction that they are, where they're going to world championships as defending champions for the first time since 2017. So expectations are high, and it's going to be really exciting what him and that whole squad does in Buffalo in May.
Yeah, and certainly, that is something that, as he talked about, that's not lost on him. I mean, the goals are still fresh on his mind a year later. So I think Team Canada is well aware what it would mean to be able to repeat as champions. I didn't want to put any pressure on him by sharing some of our bold predictions for them for Milano Cortina. I think he has enough pressure focusing in next month on the World Championships. But needless to say, I'm definitely going to be following along with what he's up to and where the team goes during that competition, because I think that's going to be a real kind of telling point for how things are going to shape up less than a year later at Milano Cortina.
For sure. And he even mentioned it there in the conversation, is the rest of the field's catching up too. There is a lot of teams that are really starting to have tight matches against each other, tight games where it's still like our favorites are Canada going up against the United States at the World Championships and at the gold medal game. But don't be surprised if there's other teams that are really making them push in the first, second, and third period of these games. And I think it's really getting exciting just seeing how much para ice hockey is growing. Like you and I have covered it. You and I have talked about different pools, how there's Pool C, Pool B, and they're expanding to countries that weren't in the sport before. And it's just continually growing and expanding. And I just think it's going to be really exciting to see that squad come together to defend, because as you said, it's not lost on them. They're together, they're hungry, they're driven, because they know what winning a world championship in 2025 means going into Milano Cortina.
Yeah, well, Nathan, we're up against the clock here, so lead us out of the program with the PSN update.
Now, the PSN update.
The ball is tipped off at the Canadian Wheelchair Basketball League Finals in Montreal. With 16 teams across 2 divisions, the fight for the Canadian crown promises to be electrifying. Matches are being broadcast on YouTube via Wheelchair Basketball Canada's page. The tournament runs from April 10th to 13th. Below the 49th parallel, the National Wheelchair Basketball Association's Adult Nationals are underway in Virginia. Tune in to PSN on Tuesday to catch the latest from the court. Switching courts, we cross the equator for the World Boccia Challenge in Santiago, Chile. Paris Paralympians Lance Kreiderman and Danica Allard captured a pair of medals. Kreiderman claimed silver in BC1, while Allard secured bronze in BC2. In the team event, the duo teamed up with Lisa Puri to win bronze. In the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, the puck drops as a blind hockey youth jamboree sees Canadians and Americans face off in a 3-game series. Behind the screen, friend of the program Bryce Christensen and his team at PXP have been nominated for a Sports Emmy in the Outstanding Digital Innovation category for their work in NHL and ASL. In the Outstanding Interactive Experience category, Invisible Disabilities on ESPN.com also received a nomination. Invisible Disabilities explores the experiences of people with disabilities at various professional stadiums. And that's the PSN update.
Nathan, lots to dive in there. Obviously, first off, very much a congratulations to Bryce Christensen, a friend of the program, as you mentioned. That's a huge honor for the work he and his team are doing at PXP. definitely deserve all that praise.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible just to work, and even what they did last year with the Stanley Cup Finals, and even bits with the chase of Ovechkin going after the goal record, but even invisible disabilities, which I would love to get into a lot deeper and a lot more, just talking about sporting experiences as a person with disability. Before we wrap today, is there any arena, any stadium, or any team that you feel's really done a good job at making sure everyone feels included at their events?
Yeah, so my mind always, whenever this question comes up, it always goes to the Ability Center in Whitby, Ontario, because it's one of the few places that I have been to that has really been built with accessibility in mind from the beginning. And you see it in every single aspect. It is a universally inclusive, accessible space, high contrast areas, wide hallways, para ice hockey level benches for the players, things like that. Like every single aspect is designed for accessibility in sport in mind. So that's would be my choice every time. What about you, Nathan?
I think for myself, there's many different things. I'm in a city where a lot of our stadiums and arenas are a lot older. But it has allowed for a lot of the NHL teams like the Vancouver Canucks to look at ways that they can make things accessible, although there are some barriers in stadiums. But there's one that really comes to mind, and I found the Invictus Games to be absolutely phenomenal with the accessibility and just the thought that went into the arenas, but also outside of the arenas, the ease of access, the ease of transportation for so many people. So that's what comes to mind for me.
Well, that is a great way to end it on some positivity and accessibility. So that's it for today's episode of Parasport Nation. You can catch us online, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, on AMI Audio. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Parasport Nation. Like and subscribe to the channel to follow us now.